okay? And it has either red or green mixed into it. This one has red. We can't see it. When you look into the blue sky, those colors are up there. Humans don't see it, but critters do, and they won't build their nests underneath there because they think that's the sky, okay? Initially, that blend is to ward off angry spirits before they enter the threshold. It's called paint blue.
Guys, morning to everybody. We're going on a tour, garden tour of New Orleans and the Garden District, and it's very impressive. Look at these, wow, look at these oak trees.
Hey guys, hop up on my stage, man. You just
yeah. I'll make you a star in Malta.
A little bit closer. No, you can get real close to me today. You're really
okay.
lucky. Yeah. This happens once a month in the Tyler family. Today, shower day, man.
Okay.
Yeah, buddy. Yesterday I was kind of gamey. They sent me home. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. My name is Colin. I sold my horse, my Dodge Dart, and my saddle, and I came to New Orleans in 1978, man, all the way from Marin County. So the next 25 years of my career I spent on Bourbon Street entertaining, singing, fronting bands from club to club to club, and I ran those clubs too. So, that being said, guys, you're the cool people, okay? You're the cool people. Well, actually, there's just something happening here. Had a couple drinks. Just drop everything already. Because the reason I'm saying that is because you're the folks that come in town. You want to know where that soft shell crab po' boy is, right? And that jazz band you've been hearing about. Not like the folks 3 months ago. There was 2 weekends of hundreds and thousands of people ascended on this city. We call them non-professional drinkers, Mardi Gras, okay? All their sole interest is to come here and get really drunk and do things that they can't do at home here in our town. So, thank you. But the reason why I'm building up to this is that when cool people like you come to town and you walk up and you see Bourbon Street, you go, okay? It wasn't that way when I first got there. At 78 up into the mid 80s, man, you never heard a band from the street. All the doors are closed. You had to see the doormans on the outside. 8 full years to take control down here to French resistance. I get very excited about this, man, and I haven't been drinking yet, okay? Is the day still young, right? That being said, man, when Spain came here, they didn't want to be here. They did not want to be here, okay? And they made it very uncomfortable for the French culture that was already set in, and to be more precise, the French Creole, okay? And there's a lot of influence here for the British colonies, because that's where all these cats came from, right? When they came down here. So this one was built by Thomas Wharton. He was the architect. He built it for the Bosworth family, and the Bosworth family owned ice companies, okay? Now listen to this, man. Along the riverfront, they had slaughterhouses, okay? So yeah, before refrigeration, okay? Before refrigeration, yeah, kind of stinky in the summertime. So you wanted to buy your gardenias, plant your jasmine, anything to overcome the stench. Well, a lot of times those cows, the night before they were to be slaughtered, they would escape and eat up all the vegetation. So then they started building fences around these huge lots, and they started with wood, and then they went to wrought iron, and then the cast iron later on. On this trip, I am going to show you an original property line before the Civil War. They were huge. You're not going to believe how big they were. So here
look
we go.
Straight down, you see the backyard. It's a hallway to the backyard.
Yes.
And if you see a lantern back there, okay, that's not a part of this. I'll explain later. Now, here we go. This is what they call a raised American cottage. It's not a cottage, okay? And it's not raised because of floods. The only floods that I know of up here was 1816. It's raised so that wealthy people can show you their dominance. So when you walk by, you gotta look up. That's what that's for, okay? Now, look at this. You see those long windows, okay? These happen to be the parlors on either side of that hallway, right? Those long windows, the French call those guillotines. They go from the ceiling all the way to the floor. When you see long windows here in the south, and they started really in the French Quarter, you know the ceilings inside are very high. In this case, 18 feet high, hot air, wide rises. That's how they dealt with the heat. So you open up your guillotine windows, and the heat circulates around and out. And on the other side, they have them on the side to get that breeze from the river. See, so hot air rises. That's where that's from. And they were added here for affordable housing. Okay, so you can open up the front door, back door, shut them straight to you down. Right? Now, inside those buildings, they have walls that open up to the park.
1127 guys. Shotgun house. He's a nice guy, isn't he?
And also,
What a beautiful area though.
so now notice here, England. See how high the ceilings are in there, man?
Wow.
Okay, and they have Corinthian columns inside this one. This one was built in 1901, and we have older ones, and we're not quite as old as England is, but we're proud of it, okay? Now, this is the other architecture you're gonna see here. This is an American townhouse. The door now is not in the center, it's in the corner, and when you open up those beautiful cypress doors, there's a stairwell that goes to the second floor up there, okay? This one was built as an annex for Tulane University. This is built, they call this the Newcomb College for Women. Okay? Now I just want to add something to that. Okay? The women could not go to the main campus. And I'm just going to add something to this too, if you don't already know. That in this country, women could not get a credit card until 1975. You had to have a dude come in and co-sign with you. That's the year I graduated from high school, man. Right this way, y'all. The roof is slate tile. It's stone. Okay? In the French Quarter, it all has to remain slate tile. Up here, they got real wishy-washy with that, and they let people put shingles on. But slate tiles give off minerals when it rains in the heat, and so it'll destroy any kind of other material that you have in your guns. So you have to have copper. But here, up until 1974, this wasn't the Garden District a society, the landmark, the historical society. So they were allowing people to do that. You probably have one, guys, in your neighborhood somewhere. That's an American ranch on a slab. I call those the Brady Bunch.
Beautiful and quiet though. Eh?
Yes, it is. Man. Get that breeze.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, something happened yesterday
What?
with that cell. That rain, it rained good, okay, real well. So, I want to introduce you to these ladies. These are live oak trees, and they're not indigenous here. The Europeans brought them into the South like 400 years ago. The ones in City Park are like over 300. That lady right there, she's about 180 years old, and they're protected by the government here. So if that family wants to cut a limb or something, they got to get a tree service and a permit to do so. That being said, why are they still here? This is 180 years of hurricanes and all kinds of stuff, Mardi Gras and all that. You know why? The root systems are standing on them right now. The root systems, man. The city thinks they own these sidewalks. She owns the sidewalk. And this is the kicker. The city does not fix these sidewalks unless they're doing a major, like over there. They have to fix the sidewalk if they wanted to. And when they do, they have to go over the roots. So mind your step. It doesn't happen in the French Quarter because all the buildings are on the sidewalk, right? There's other stuff to watch out in the French Quarter, like the reminiscences of bachelorette parties. And bachelor parties aren't any better. Now I gotta say that. Now look here. This beautiful ferns that you see, okay? All that was that. See underneath her? See, it looks like it's dead. All those branches yesterday were like that. And as soon as it rains good, they all turn green again, and those are called resurrection ferns. Isn't that beautiful, man?
They mentioned that on the bus tour the other day.
Yeah.
That they would just end.
Now you see it.
Yeah.
Same family, generation to generation to generation. Look at those portraits in there. That's family members.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have the original floors. These Louisiana cypress floors, it's 1856, it's all been beautifully preserved, man. They had a 15-foot Christmas tree last year. They brought it through this guillotine window. They sat it in the corner, and they still had enough room to put the star on the top, man. Isn't that gorgeous? That's it. Fine. Let these young guys come on through.
Yeah, come on through, guys.
The Raised America. This one does not have a second floor, right? So after the Civil War, what they did was they just enlarged the house. You see that part right there? I know that's really old because look at the siding. That's the original siding. That's Louisiana cypress siding. That's what all these buildings are built out of. Isn't that beautiful? Now, this is something for the Brits. That's Daniel Clark Jr. was the architect. Okay, so all these people in the early times, from 1812 and on, came from British colonies. You heard the British accent all over here. Okay, because they came from British colonies and they learned from the Queen's dictionary, not the Webster back there, right? I didn't learn from any one of those two. I learned mine from the University of Bourbon Street, man, 25-year post-grad. Anyway, so in England, because I'm first generation, my dad would always talk about our rich uncle, my great uncle, and he had this crystal pineapple on the table, dinner table, because he was rich, and it means welcomeness. But that goes all the way back when England was doing their colonizing and stuff, and the Queen would send out Sir Francis Drake and those cats, and they'd come back with gold and all. But they would also bring back fruit trees and fruit. And the fruit that was on high demand back then by the Queen, the pineapple. So after that, if you were at a castle somewhere or something eating pineapple, you know those people were rich. Well, at a certain time of the year, all of a sudden the bark comes out. Usually they're nice and smooth, and a bark come out, and when it peels off, when it's molting, it peels off like a crepe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I'll show you. Come on. You'll see some real pretty ones around the corner.
And these ferns must grow on everything then, huh?
Huh?
Is that fern, or is that part of
That's the fern.
They just grow on everything?
It's found a little cavity in there.
And they just grow. Okay.
This is the only company after COVID that has a contract with the Archdiocese that will take tours inside St. Louis Cemetery 1. That's the oldest. Do it. It's a great tour. Okay. In there, those are that's 1789. Marie Laveau is in there. And if you go in there and you hear someone saying a voodoo queen, that's BS. There's no such thing as a voodoo queen. My wife is a practitioner. Marie Laveau, okay, was a free woman of color. She also, when you became free, you were baptized Catholic, but here in New Orleans, you can still practice Voodoo. Okay, so if you have a chance, go into the Congress Square, and right as you go through Armstrong Park, there's a big carving, like a statue-like carving, and you'll see it depicts the rituals and the music that came out of there, man. It has the African drummers, and there might be dozens of them at a time, all harmonizing, man, at one time. String instruments. The banjo was created in West Africa, okay? And ladies dancing with rags in their hands, forming tight circles. And Marie Laveau, it's a very central part of religion, of voodoo. She would come in swinging her hips with a big snake around, bow around, and lead the rituals. So, voodoo is the oldest religion in the world. It's the first time. Ella Brennan's house. See how smooth the grapes are? She's just now starting to go into molting stage. See how smooth she is? She hasn't gone into that molting stage just yet, this one. This is how big the property lines were before the Civil War.
Wow.
These people never changed. They never sold off. Look, follow the wrought iron. All the way down. That's
Wow.
1849, and they just built on to enhance this beauty. You're going to want to take a picture of this one right this way.
Wow.
See when that breeze stops
Yeah.
blowing?
Shade the breeze.
This was featured in the motion picture, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Brad Pitt. Yeah, this is it. And ladies, while you're taking that picture, where I'm standing here, man, before the Civil War, the sewage system was a deep ditch that went all the way around the block. Swiss chalet. Okay. The lady that currently owns this now has not been here since COVID. After Katrina, she gave a substantial amount of money to Warren Easton High School, public high school, mostly African American majority, and you know it's been an A school ever since. Just a little love goes a long ways. A school. She adopted little Louis 2010, an African American baby here in New Orleans, and she's willed that house to Louis. So when he finishes his school and all, he's got a piece of New Orleans. This would be Sandra Bullock. Yeah, man. Sandra. Now she did a movie with her bestie friend that stayed here right before COVID, Matthew McConaughey. All right, all right.
All the trees with colored flowers, are they all the same?
Those are crepe myrtles. That's southern magnolia. See the magnolias way up there? Everybody's picked the ones off close. And the one over there, see the stop sign? That one right there? That blooms in the fall, into the winter. But it has no leaves when it blooms. But it's beautiful purples and pinks. That's Japanese magnolia.
Yeah.
I know, it blooms with no leaves on it. She just that's some scary shit. Yeah, and it's going to be really big. That whole women's health issue.
Yep.
Come on, bro. I mean, it affects all women, not what political party you're with.
Right.
Here, this is all kind of messed up. So, this house is the oldest house. It's 178 years old. And you know it's a raised American cottage. See the door in the center and all that? Now, this used to be sitting in the middle, facing that way. And if you go to the Herma Grimm house in the French Quarter, it's a museum. That's where they filmed Kathy Bates in the American Horror Story. Not into the Laurie Mansion, but in there. That was a very wealthy merchant. This was his weekend house. He'd come up here for the weekend. So when they started selling off, they sold off, and the slave quarters ended up over there. That's why it's not matching all this. And those people own it, so they kind of tried to, they attached themselves to it. It's kind of weird looking. It's more like a pool house now because there's a pool right there. But when they moved this one this way, so the frontage will be on 4th Street, they put the windows back in upside down. Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. So the guillotine windows stay open from down this way. And up here, being wishy-washy with the historical thing, they let people put regular shingles like you have on your house probably. Let me show you this one, man. Follow me. That's old, sir. Take a picture of that. New Orleans gas and light.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is how it comes off. It looks like a crepe. See it? So it looks like a crepe, the crepe myrtle. She's molting. Right this way. Gardenia. Guys, you want to smell something really nice?
Yeah.
I have a big one, okay? And it has either red or green mixed into it. This one has red. We can't see it. When you look into the blue sky, those colors are up there. Humans don't see it, man. But critters do, and they won't build their nests underneath there because they think that's the sky. Okay? Initially, that blend is to ward off angry spirits before they enter the threshold. It's called paint blue. Yeah. Now, don't back up any further because this sidewalk is not friendly. especially to people that drink.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I know. Look at that.
Unless you're having a really bad time with your girlfriend or boyfriend, walk her up here tonight. Oh, or to the right, honey.
You're
Chef,
okay when you're
and
in.
I'm an old entertainer, so you're gonna see a lot of groovy things on there.
Okay.
So read it. The videos are really cool. They're really old and stuff like that. So, that being said, man, I want to give this to you. When the Sicilians first came here, a lot of times they changed their last names to Irish names. The Martini family were grocers, and they changed their name to Martin. The streetcar line went on strike, and they felt sorry for the strikers, so they went to the Gentusa family, the bakers, and they asked to bake them a loaf of bread with 2 rounded ends. And that's where our light, flaky, wonderful, crunchy bread came from. And they stuffed that bread with meats and cheeses, and they gave it to the strikers, and they called the strikers the po' boys. You gotta beat the po' boys. You cannot have a po' boy where you guys live because of the bread. It's only made here, man. Only made. Otherwise, it's called a sub or a hoagie, okay? So enjoy it, New Orleans. If you're here tomorrow, try those places I mentioned. Also, one of my favorite places that I take people to on cocktail culinary, Muriel's restaurant. Remember that, okay? It's got a ghost story. You go up on the 2nd floor, you discover all of Muriel's. And try the crawfish tail goat cheese crepes. Yeah, buddy. All right, the turtle soup and all that's really cool stuff. So enjoy. Now, if you're inclined to write a review, man, okay, to this wonderful company through TripAdvisor, it means a lot to us, okay? And make sure it's a 5-star review. I just want to remind you that my wife practices Voodoo and Hoodoo.
Great.
So, where do you want your gree on your doorstep? I don't know.
Can I
I'm
get
just
10
kidding.
10
Kidding.
stars?
Thank you for
I
taking
know,
my
right?
tour. Let me
Thank
use you up there.
you.